broadest and most prevalent error requires the most disinterested virtue to sustain it. The slight reproach to which the virtue of patriotism is commonly liable, the noble are most likely to incur. Those who, while they disapprove of the character and measure of a government, yield to it their allegiance and support, are undoubtedly its most conscientious supporters, and so frequently the most serious obstacles to reform. Some are petitioning the state to dissolve the Union, to disregard the requisitions of the President. Why do they not dissolve it themselves, the union between themselves and the state, and refuse to pay their quota into its treasury? Do not they stand in the same relation to the state that the state does to the Union? And have not the same reasons prevented the state from resisting the Union, which have prevented them from resisting the state? How can a man be satisfied to entertain an opinion merrily and enjoy it? Is there any enjoyment in it if his opinion is that he is aggrieved? If you are cheated out of a single dollar by your neighbor, do you not rest satisfied with the knowledge that you are cheated, or with saying that you are cheated, or even in petitioning him to pay you your due? But you take effectual steps at once to obtain the full amount, and see that you are never cheated again. Action from principle, the perception and the performance of rights, changes things and relations. It is essentially revolutionary, and does not consist wholly with anything that was. It not only divides states and churches, it divides families, it divides the individual, separating the diabolical in him from the divine. Unjust laws exist. Shall we be content to obey them, or shall we endeavor to amend them? And obey them until we have succeeded, or shall we transgress them at once? Men generally, under such a government as this, think that they ought to wait until they have persuaded the majority to alter them. They think that, if they should resist, the remedy would be worse than the evil. But it is the fault of the government itself that the remedy is worse than the evil. It makes it worse. Why is it not more apt to anticipate and provide for reform? Why does it not cherish its wise minority? Why does it not cry, or why does it cry and resist before it is hurt? Why does it not encourage its citizens to be on the alert, to point out its faults, and do better than it would have them? Why does it always crucify Christ, and excommunicate Copernicus and Luther, and pronounce Washington and Franklin rebels? Moving on. As for adopting the ways which the state has provided for remedying the evils, I know not of such ways. They take too much time, and a man's life will be gone. I have other affairs to attend to. I came into this world, not chiefly to make this a good place to live in, but to live in it, to be good or bad. A man has not everything to do, but something, and because he cannot do everything, it is not necessary that he should do something wrong. It is not my business to be petitioning the governor or the legislature any more than it is theirs to petition me. And if they should not hear my petition, what should I do then? But in this case, the state has provided no way. Its very constitution is the evil. This may seem to be harsh and stubborn and unconciliatory, but it is to treat with the utmost kindness and consideration the only spirit that can appreciate or deserve it. So, is all change for the better, like birth and death, which convulses the body? Cast your whole vote, Not a strip of paper merely, but your whole influence. A minority then, but it is irresistible when it clogs by its whole weight. If the alternative is to keep all just men in prison, or give up war and slavery, the state will not hesitate to choose which. If 1,000 men were not to pay their tax bill this year, that would be a violent and bloody measure, as it would be to pay them, and enable the state to commit violence and shed innocent blood. This is, in fact, the definition of a peaceable revolution, if any such is possible. If the tax gatherer or other public officer asks me, as one has done, "But what shall I do?" my answer is, if you really wish to do anything, resign your office. When the subject has refused allegiance, and the officer has resigned his office, then the revolution is accomplished. A simple reading by Henry David Thoreau out of his Civil Disobedience. These aren't especially new ideas, certainly not new to the average anti-statist, libertarian, or even anarchist. But as I read through this document, the poignancy in which these things are put is, well, for me anyways, at this point, unparalleled. I don't hear a lot of speaking about Thoreau, and now that I'm reading through Walden and Civil Disobedience, I'm asking myself why not. So check it out if you haven't. Thanks.